Hey everyone, welcome to Coffee Chat. We're over here giggling. We Sean was a couple minutes late hopping on, so we were giving him a hard time. But I'm so happy to be here with you guys today, and I'm excited to chat about refreshing routines because that's just so important. We'll dive into that shortly, but I'm just so happy and blessed to have Joy and Sean here with me today. They are both returning Coffee Chat guests, and they are our Rank Maker ambassadors, which is amazing. So you probably see them in the group a lot. They're helping out with a lot of things, and we're just so grateful for them here at the Higdon Group because they're such a huge help. And actually, both of them were helping out with last night's call. So I thank you both so much for all that you do. And for anyone who may not know who I am, my name is Carrie Marrie Vaughn, and I am a coach for the Higdon Group, and I'm a part of a lot of different things here, and I just love doing coffee chat every week and sharing some topics that are really important in our industry, and having amazing guests every week. And today I'm going to let Joy and Sean share a little bit about themselves in case you don't know who they are. And so Joy, I'm going to start with you because you're right here to my left in my screen anyway. I'll have you go ahead and share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your experience here and what you love about being a rank maker.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Joy Magnus. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm Joy Magnus, originally from Jamaica, currently in Jamaica. Enjoying this warm weather. I have been in the industry on and off since I was in college. So dare I say how long ago that was. I've known about, this industry for a while. But I've been a rank maker probably about 7 years-ish. And enjoyed every minute of it. I'm one of those people that loves community, and especially a positive community. And so I've enjoyed fellowshipping with people, cheering people on, learning, meeting new people who are in other companies than I'm in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a coffee lover. Yeah, they're like, I mean, I could go on and on about things that I love, but I love this industry and I love rank makers. And I'm glad I'm able to help the Higdon Group as an ambassador in any way that I can.
That's so awesome. Well,
It's good to
we
be
love
here.
you too, Joy. And I think that you might be sending us some of your weather. You know, it's been in the 90s here all week. I'm in upstate New York, so
Yeah, so imagine what it's like here, and yeah, it's just something that you have to adjust to. When I
yeah.
came back to visit after being in the US for 30 something years, I came back and I thought, why did I come here in the summer? I'm not used to living in this kind of heat for a while, but I've gotten used to it. I know how to prepare for it. I know how to stay hydrated, listen to my body when it does things. I'm like, water, time for agua, and keep
Sounds
it
like
moving.
a routine.
Yeah,
Yep.
it does sound like a routine.
There you go. Yeah,
Just
a
the right
routine
buzz.
that I've had to refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. My husband and I were just in Mexico last week, and it was like about 100 every day. And so like we were kind of accustomed to that. When we came back, the day that we came back, it was probably in the 60s here. And we're like, brr, it's really cold. We're there throwing on our sweatshirts and our long pants, and then we got this heat wave and we're like, nice, back to the warm weather again. And everyone else is like, it's way too hot, I can't stand this. We're like, oh, we're ready for this.
But even in the midst of it, I show gratitude because I think, man, it is hot. And then I think, but there's a nice breeze, and at least it's a cool breeze. It could be dead still air.
Exactly.
It could be worse. So, every once in a while, a cool breeze coming through helps.
Yes,
So
yes,
still just proves that in everything you can find something to be grateful for.
exactly.
Yes.
All right, well, Sean, go ahead and introduce yourself and let everyone know what you're up to and how long you've been in Rank Makers, what you love about it, all of that good stuff.
You got it. Hey, everybody. I am Sean Azimi, and I have been in the profession since 2008. And I've been in and out of the profession since 2008. But recently, about a year and a half ago, I fell in love with this profession. Like I truly feel like this is my path. This is my journey. This is my calling. This is my purpose. So for about a year and a half, I've really truly fallen in love with the profession. I get the profession now, you know, and somebody here was a really big help in that, and that's like Ray Higdon. I love Ray. You guys know how much I love Ray. Became a rank maker. I think it was 2000. I want to say 2018-ish, 17-ish, 18-ish. And it literally took me 5 years for him to notice me. Before I've mentioned this before, he used to give out prizes on his lives all the time. And I would just put in emojis and all this kind of stuff. And he would call the name above me and right below me. And I'd be like, am I not there? You know, it took 5 years, but it tells you persistence, you know, because I really connected with his teaching and the way you know what it is now that I understand the profession. He teaches you conversation pieces that are really important in like prospecting, right? I come from the corporate world, not 19 years in the mortgage industry, 24 years in a cubicle, you know. So I've done a lot of training and script writing and stuff like that. But what I love about how Ray teaches, he teaches a normal human to human conversation in this profession. It's like it doesn't sound scripted. It sounds like you would have that conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I
I
love that. I love that. I mean, that's just something that just grabbed me right away. And yeah, so glad to be here. And
very, very
when you reached out, said to be an ambassador, I said, what? Where do I sign? I
of
want to
course.
be adopted to the family. Let's go.
That's awesome. I know. And when you're describing the way that you're just like putting in all of these messages and emojis like pick me. I think of, I don't know if you've ever seen Shrek, but there's like the scene where Donkey wants to be picked and he's there bopping
Yes,
on all four of his hooves and he's
Yeah.
like,
that was me.
me, and I could just picture you as little donkey, like popping up and down, pick me. And I hear that Ray gave you a shout out last night on the
He
financial
did.
success strategies course call. So that's exciting. So he is
Thank you.
definitely recognizing you now.
I appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
Next step is Ray's personal private number.
Yeah, I'm
And
working
Sean
on
is
that.
good.
I'm working on that. The
That's awesome.
Batmobile, the Batmobile.
Very cool. Well, so let's shift gears here and chat about the topic today, which is refreshing our routines. Because of course we know that routines are a very good thing to have. It helps us to kind of form that habit that we need to do the things that we need to do in our business and our life and in all different areas where we can form that habit so that we do the things that we know we need to do, whether or not we like to do them. They're the things that we know we have to do, and it's great to stick them into a routine. But if we stick with the same routine over and over and over again, it can be almost like a broken record and one of those things that's kind of just happening instead of thinking about it and being intentional about it. And so we're kind of just like being pulled along with the flow instead of actually like making the point to do the things. And so that's why it's always good to refresh our routines, not stick with the same routine all day, every day, forever and ever. And so it could be a matter of just switching things around. You're doing the exact same things, but just switching around the order that you do them in, or switching up the way that you do them. And I've even heard this where it helps our brain. So like, even if like, let's just say you have to drive to an office to go to work. If you drive a different route to or from the office sometimes, or what if you're brushing your teeth, to brush with the other hand than you normally would brush with, or just any little thing that you can tweak to your routine. It helps your brain to become more focused and aware on what it is that you're doing, and allows you to be more productive with your time, and allows you to be a little bit more successful in the different areas that you're working on. And that really is big when it comes to our business activity, because as we know, we should be following up with people and reaching out to people daily, being in conversation with people daily, but we don't want it to get stale. So I'd love to hear from the two of you as to some ways that you personally like to switch up your routines, and some things that are helpful for you, and keeping that in mind that you do need to shift it up every once in a while. You know, like what is it that triggers you, like, ooh, I'm kind of getting into a rut here, I need to shift up my routine. So let me know, either one of you, you can go first, it doesn't matter.
MJ, you go.
Well, some days it feels like I want to do it daily, but I know I can't do that, refresh thing daily, because I have to do it for a while to see if it works. Coming from employee where you had the routine at a certain time, you leave home. If you left 5 minutes late, you're late for work. The routine that the structure you're put under, if I dare to say, when you're working for somebody else. And then when you go for working for yourself and you're thinking, okay, now you have to create your own routine. So you start off with, I did, started with the same routine I had when I was working a job, so that I never get out of the routine of waking up at a certain time in the morning. Because I work from home doesn't mean I can sleep till 10. I got stuff to do. So I still wake up at, the same time. My morning may change. And so instead of driving to work, I'm doing something else, or driving or sitting in traffic, should I say. I'm doing something different. But then you do that for a while. And then if I'm not seeing what I want to see, I think, okay, I need to reevaluate this. I think it's not working. So I change the time of day I do things. So I used to be somebody who was not a big fan of mornings. And my mother couldn't get that. She was like, oh, she says, you wake up early, you get so much done before the rest of the world gets up. I'm like, well, that's for you all, but then I have a habit of going to bed late. So if I go to bed late, waking up in the morning, so now I'm at the point in my life where I go to bed late, wake up early, and not getting the sleep I need. That's another coffee chat. But totally different coffee chat. But I switch it up, so try to figure out what is my best working time at home. Because it's interesting, when I work in the office, a certain schedule is fine. I mean, something as simple as casual day in the office was my most productive day. Then the days I was dressed up business casual or business. At home, casual all day is not when I'm productive. If I go out for a meeting and I come in and I don't change and I still have on business clothes, I seem to get more done. I don't, so little things like that you have to figure out about yourself and see what works best for you. If your time, if the morning is your best time, the evening is your best time. It's important that no matter what schedule you have, that you take breaks. Mm-hmm. And I have started to apply this, and I'm still testing this out, where I work straight for 20 minutes, take a break for 10, so that I don't lose, go off in la la land and don't get productive. So I'm trying that to see how that works, and then increase it to 30 minutes, take a few minutes break. So I think it's always, that's the beauty of working for yourself. You get to control, what your outcome, you want your outcome to be. So you control, and you may have to play around and tweak it a little bit till you find what works for you. And then when you're ready to level up, you're gonna have to refresh that again because the same actions are not going to take you to the next level.
Yes, yes. You just touched on so many good points, Joy, because switching up your routine helps you to find what works best. And also to not get stuck in the same routine forever, because once you get into the habit of things, if you really want to level up, you need to take your actions to that next level. And so it's so important to shift it up based on what's working, what's not working, and also then to get you ready for that next level. Because it's great once once you're on a roll, you're like, yes, I found my routine that really works, and this is good, and it works for my schedule. I'm more productive during this time. Or I like that you mentioned what you're wearing, because that makes a big difference too. Like, what is it that you're wearing? Are you standing? Are you sitting? What are the things that you're doing just before you start doing your business activities? So for instance, saying some affirmations or singing and dancing and getting your energy levels up before you prospect or before you follow up can make a huge difference. So just all those little tiny tweaks that you can make a huge difference in your routine. So I love that you just shared all of that, Joy. Thank you so much. And Sean,
Also, I was
on that. Oh, no, go.
No, I was going
Go
to
ahead.
say, when I think back to the things that I did when I was working, if I had to get up and do a presentation, I was not thinking about it. No, I was affirming myself to death because I can talk to you on a casual level, but at the time in front of a room with 3,000 people, and when it's on you, you're the one who has to make this report, so you go through these affirmations like, so it's the same thing, so, continuing with affirmations. Don't stop. Know that you're working, even if it's a dear Lord, help me not to pass out while I talk to this person, just, just
That's
something as simple as
prayer.
that. Yeah. And smile and then pick up the phone and call somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Always put on a smile. Awesome. All right, Sean, go for it.
Well, I mean, I come from the corporate world, so that's like a routine world, clock in, clock out. You get in, you do this literally the same thing every day, all day. And, for 14, 15 hours a day. And I did that for 19 years. Excuse me. So routine was like embedded in me. I've been a routine guy. Since this profession, and I'm really understanding the profession, I actually get bored easy. So if it's the same routine, I do get kind of bored. I do want some excitement. So I changed things up. Now, maybe the order or the toothbrush thing, I actually do that once in a while, every month for a couple of days. And it's so annoying the first day. It's like, oh my God, why am I doing this? It's taking forever. It's taking forever, But it's like it's fun because it kind of challenges you. I do have certain like day routines, night routines. Like when I go to bed, there's no dishes in the sink. Everything's got to be back to normal. Everything has to be like folded, molded, whatever it is. So those are my daily routines. But when it comes to, and this has been my professional life always, when it comes to like the business world and building a business, a routine is going to kill your game because you got to be constantly moving and changing things up because your audience is not going to be the same people. I think it was Marcus Aurelius that said, a man never crosses the river twice because it's not the same river and it's not the same man, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with people. When you're talking to people now, your routine may be, okay, I have a block for, an hour, I'm going to work. But the little things in there, you got to be able to tweak and adjust to be able to say, oh, okay, that's kind of working. That's not working. And then when you find it, when you find that that piece that works, then you can kind of capitalize on that, run with that. But just being stuck in a routine and having that closed mind that, okay, this is what I do, you know, nothing else can come in. And I think that's gonna kill the game. You know, you got to be able to adjust, move around a little bit, stick to a routine, test it out, be able to like change a little bit. You know, I do that, and I've been doing that for the past like 2-3 months, and I'm getting some positives from some areas, and some areas are not so positive. So I'm changing things up, you know, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point too, to that certain routines are good, like the bedtime routine, just having certain things that you do before a certain time or whatever. Those are always good to do no matter what. And you can still shift it up a little bit as far as when you do it, you know. But as far as the business goes, because this is a people business, because we are interacting with other people all the time, we kind of have to be ready for anything, you know, because you might get asked to speak on one of your team webinars or a training or something, or you might have a team member that needs a little extra help with something, and you offer to hop on a quick Zoom call with them to walk through some things. Or you might want to host a like a power hour or power half hour with you know, your team or your uplines and sidelines and things like that to all work together. And you have to be a little bit more fluid and go with the flow, because you are dealing with other people. It's not always just you and your schedule and what you need to get done. It's also other people involved. And so sometimes you have to kind of ebb and flow with what needs to be done and what comes up in your daily life and in your business and things like that. So I love that you mentioned that you need to be able to be flexible and shift things up.
I think
So
while we're refreshing routines, there's some things that are still non-negotiable, if that's the right
absolutely.
phrase. There are certain things I learned from personal experience. Don't take calls after a certain time of night. You know, because that energy from that call can mess up the little sleep I'm already getting. And how effective it is. So I said, okay, no phone calls after depending on 9-10 o'clock p.m. Now I'll stay on social media, but I still cut off social media at a certain point. So at bedtime, I'm unwinding. That I don't debate.
Definitely
and
set
tha-
boundaries.
yeah, and
Boundaries are good.
thankfully there hasn't been anything of a crisis where, you know, somebody is calling me at 12 o'clock because I need to do something. You know, so that I cut off. And then my time in the morning, you know, when my internal alarm clock goes off before the real alarm clock, at 4:35, I have my quiet time till I get out of the bed to get up and think, and I don't exchange that for anything.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
so good to set boundaries and to set aside time that's just for you. That is not for the business. It's not for being available for people and being on social media and things like that. Because once you allow the world to come in, it's like you need to be like, okay, now it's done. This is my time. So like the right before bed, and then when you wake up in the morning, that chunk of time should be for you, your self-care, your thoughts, your prayers, whatever it is that you need to do during that time. And that's okay to stick with that routine, stick with those boundaries, because that shouldn't be crossed. That's precious time for you. But absolutely, within that working time, within the time you set aside for working, that's where you can be a little flexible and shift up that routine and things like that. Absolutely. But yeah, we shouldn't bend on our boundaries, because one person that crosses it, then everybody's going to think that they can cross it. So yeah. Any other final words that we want to say? Because I think that this is super powerful, and I think it's really helpful for other people to hear, because, I think that some people think like, oh, I need to stick to this like super strict routine, otherwise I'm going to like mess up or whatever. So any final thoughts before we hop off today for anybody who's watching who might be struggling around shifting up their routine?
I'll give you one last thought. Don't be afraid to eliminate a routine as well, because hey, there's some stuff that you can completely like throw away and not do, and that is one thing you got to pay attention to as well. You can do all the routines and set routines and put them in place and all that stuff, but don't forget about the junk. Dump the junk. I always say dump the junk. If it's not good for you, just dump the junk. So
Yep.
don't forget that you can get rid of some bad routines as well.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Joy? Any last words before we hop off?
I like that. Dump the trunk. I need to remember that, because it is okay to let go of things that aren't working for you. I would say stay flexible, like we had spoken about. See what really works for you. Things will come up. Dog will get sick, you have to take it to the vet. That's
Yep.
not on your schedule, but when you come back, you can change your day in a way where you can still get something done. For the people who office hours keeps coming to me, I think when we talk about setting boundaries, we can set office hours, for the people outside who don't get what we do, who think you work from home, you're available whenever. You can still have some sort of a structure, I think, to say I work between 9 and 5.
Yep.
But in that 9 to 5, you can refresh and be flexible as much as you can.
Yeah.
So that you can get what you need to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I encourage everybody to challenge yourself a little bit and to stick in some things that push you past your comfort zone, because that really allows you to shift up that routine a little bit. If you're trying to do just a little bit of something, whether it be reaching out to that person that you're a little afraid of reaching out to, or sending a brand new message that you've never used this type of wording before, but it's something that Ray recommends, or if it's just going and talking to a random person at a store about what it is that you do. I mean, try stepping out of your comfort zone, because the more that you do that, not only is it shifting up your routine regularly, but it also is pushing you past your boundaries, and you'll see that you can accomplish so much more and you can do so much more. And it's a mind game as well. You're proving to yourself that you can do hard things. And so the more and more challenging things that come up, you're like, I got this, I can do it. So have fun, everyone. Have fun with shifting up your routines. Drop a comment and let us know how you're going to be starting to shift up your routines a little bit, or some ways that you already do. And I can't wait to see you on next week's coffee chat. Thank you both
Thank you for having me on.
Bye. Thanks for
Have an
having
amazing
us.
day. Bye.
Bye.